Well, I thought that, first of all, West Virginia's guards were really, really good today, and we weren't able to keep them at bay as far as early in the game transition buckets, and then in the second half we just couldn't stop their penetration. Part of it was our lack of efficiency on defense, but some of it was their ability to get to the paint and draw fouls. I was really proud of our team from the aspect that we really didn't play well. A lot of that had to do with West Virginia, but some of it had to do with our composure. Offensively wasn't very good, but I'm really proud that we didn't give up and didn't get to a point where we got too dejected. That's an area where I think our team has really grown enormously, and I'm proud of our effort. I think we've taken some really good steps this year, and in particular in this tournament.
Okay, questions for our student athletes, please.
Selena, the comeback that you guys made was, some of it was made with players that don't always get a lot of minutes. For example, Nakia, Brianna. What does that show about the team as a whole, that you could rely on other players other than the big two or the big three that get most of the attention?
I think it shows that we have a lot of depth, and on any given night, any player can step up. And I think Coach just went with the group that was flowing pretty well, and in turn, we were able to come back and almost get the lead. But I just think it just depended on the group that was in there, and like I said, on any given night, anybody can step up. So I think it's due to our depth.
Nakia, kind of the same question, but you in particular, you led the team in scoring, I think, in the first half and wound up with a really good game. When you go into a game like that, do you think it's up to me to get this team in gear? What's your mindset like that?
My mindset is just to bring energy and find a way to help the team just get better every time, every play, every step of the way. And, at that moment in the game, we just try to bring energy and keep this team together and push to get, try to get the lead, but it didn't happen. But we've still worked hard, and we didn't pull it out.
Selena, their coach said you guys have played two not so pretty games against each other and wasn't surprised at this one. What is it about West Virginia that it's really tough to play them? It seems like they're really physical and maybe takes you out of your game a little bit.
I think since we're both pretty physical teams, there's end up a lot of fouls. We definitely put them on the free throw line a lot in the second half, which cost us. So I just think there's just a lot of physicality between the both of us.
Selena, another question. Imani didn't score a field goal in the first half, and NECA may have had one. How difficult was it to get them involved in the flow of the game? It seemed like maybe a little bit better in the second half, but West Virginia was really tough today on them.
Yeah, I think in the first half we knew that we had to get a bigger post presence in the paint, but I think as a team we just kept encouraging them and letting them know that we trust them, that they're going to get position, and I think it worked out better in the second half.
You had okay, we're going to let the student athletes go back to the locker room. Ladies, congratulations on a great season and good luck in the postseason.
Thank you.
And now we'll take coaches' questions.
I'm getting a sore throat here. Karen, same question I asked a minute ago. It looked like Imani and NECA had a hard time getting into the flow of the offense. Did West Virginia do anything in particular to neutralize them?
I think they did exactly what they've done every time we've played them. In particular, when we played at West Virginia, I thought they did a terrific job denying our post players the ball. And it's twofold. They have to work a little bit harder and get better position. But the other piece to that is that we have to be patient enough to reverse the basketball where we can get some pins from the way that they're being played on the first pass. And that's where I thought we were impatient, really, really impatient in the first half, and didn't let the offense flow. Our team has a habit of wanting to score off the first pass, and not having, and it's on, obviously I have to take responsibility for that because I don't think we're disciplined enough to make the next pass. And some of it is youth, and some of it's that some teams we don't have to do that against, and then we run up against a team like West Virginia that really takes away your first couple of options, and we don't do a good job of getting to the next options.
Texas made a comeback in the second half with players that don't always get a lot of minutes. Does it say anything in particular to you about them, and how gratifying is it that players that don't get a lot of minutes brought you back?
I think those players practice every day. It's not like they don't get a lot of reps in practice, because they do. They get about as much reps as the starters do. And I think that they've, aside from Bree Taylor, Nakia and Kelsey Lang have had minutes that have really mattered throughout this year. So, I mean, it just so happened that they were the ones that were really bringing some energy that the older players were struggling to find. So we went with that group that was, it just seemed to have a little bit more energy. Obviously, Chaz was in that group, and it was a killer when Chaz fouled out, because I thought we were right there, and that was obviously a huge play in the game.
Don't mean to lead you on, but she was pretty adamant that she didn't touch her. From your viewpoint, without getting fined by the league, what did you think of that particular play?
I'd have to go back and look at that on film. You know, you always, I think coaches always assume that we never foul. You know, it's always a bad call, but I try to not really make a lot of judgment on things until you look at the film, because honestly, most of the time you go back and look at the film and it's the way that they call it. Most often it is. And it was just unfortunate for us because Chaz was really the kind of the anchor to that group, and she was playing well. She was shooting the ball well, and it just, you know, Brady was struggling today, so it really hurt us when Chaz went out.
I guess the big tournament next, you'll find out next Monday, but all in all, the season 21-11, I don't know what your expectations were at this point, but how do you feel about your team going into the big one?
I feel really good about our team. I thought that they really came here to win the tournament. They didn't come here just to win a game. They're an extremely disappointed group right now. They're not ready to go home. I'm going to give them a few days off, and I don't necessarily think that they were ready to do that. They wanted to play tomorrow, and I'm really, really excited about, obviously, the future of our program, but in particular, what I think we could do in the NCAA tournament.